I was surprised after all the good effects they do in this show that here for this lightning bolt, it's this stationary sort of hand-drawn white bolt that they superimposed over everything. The bolt itself doesn't even move, it's just really fake looking, and it's the same one they used later in the episode here. I'll compare the two. On the other hand, when the lightning bolt does hit here at the beginning and Gilligan flies off the screen, they did a really good job on that, and I can't see any cables or strings. In addition, in both of these lightning bolt scenes, you can see a couple flash pots at the bottom of the scene starting to blast up to add to the explosion effect. And here we can see a pre-crack in this little table. When Gilligan slams the ball down, it breaks along the crack, and some of it doesn't, but you can see it here ahead of time. This one's pretty major. When the skipper is wearing the door tonight, we can see that the life ring is around his head on this side of the door. And then a couple seconds later, the life ring is on the other side of the door. There are certainly film flaws during developing back then. There wasn't much you could do about it in some cases, but I isolated these 4 frames during this shot, and it's really an unusual object that appears within a couple frames of these 4. It looks like a pollywog or something. Make of it what you wish. This was kind of a fun one to take a look at. As the skipper enters the hut holding the mirror, it's all one continuous shot, and he hands the mirror to Gilligan, and we see the mirror floating in the air. Well, they accomplished this using a string, and the string is attached to the mirror the entire time the skipper is entering. As the skipper walked, a crew person had to let out some string so that it didn't get caught and so it would operate properly. But if you look here outside the doorway, you can see the shadow of a crew person, both of the arms, as they are letting out the string while the skipper walks in. And then the following shots of the mirror, the handle is just out of sight below the frame, so they probably hooked it onto some kind of a pivot and turned it that way. Here's another good one. This effect is to make it seem as though Gilligan is getting up and down into this chair. We can see the seat of it moving up and down. If you look below the chair, you'll see the mechanism used to do it. They actually cut a little hole in the stage floor. There's a cable running down. You can see the mechanism going up and down, and it's tied to the bottom of the chair. They did a nice job on this book sliding. I don't see any strings or cables. They may have attached something through one of these table cracks from the bottom and slid it along that way. This one here is easy to see. In order for the liquid in the glass to disappear in Mary Ann's hand, they used a rubber tube. You can see it going from the glass into Mary Ann's sleeve, and they colored it to kind of match her shirt so it would be hidden a little bit. The movement of this pair in the air is accomplished by at least one horizontal string and perhaps a vertical string. On one side here you can see a dark string against the white color of Ginger's outfit. Then during the 3 frames of the biting of the pair, you can see a vertical darker string. Then of course these shots were set up at different times. If you take a look at the pair in the bowl after it has been bitten, then when you look at the pair in the bowl when Ginger is checking his reflexes, not only do the bites not match, but the pair is facing the other way, and the bites have started to turn brown, so it's been sitting there a while. This is a nice job. Stop animation is always tough to do because something is bound to change, but that's how they did it on these footprints, and really they turned out pretty good. The only thing you can see is an occasional shadow that comes and goes in the lower portion here, and also this little tiny clump of sand appears and disappears during the animation. Again, they've perfected their technique in many of these effects. I don't see any strings or anything moving this plate, and I don't think they did anything from the bottom because you don't see any kind of hole or slot, which would be visible as the plate slides as far as it does. I can't rule out the use of a magnet. That would certainly work. On the other hand, we can see 2 strings here, one attached to the grapes and one attached to the pear, in order to move them in this next shot.